Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. Today on John's Briefs, here again with Tim Forshee from Forshee Law. You need to go check him out, get your NFA trust from him at the very least. And your firearms trust, so then that way you can get the cool fun guy, gun stuff. And don't get me started on that. Anyways.
Yeah, that is fun.
Don't get me started. Anyways, I want to talk, we had a recent badge cam on the channel of a couple of officers investigating a disturbance, knock on a guy's door, didn't announce themselves.
Right.
And end up in an officer-involved shooting. So I want to talk to him about some of these legalities.
To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below.
So I did talk to a couple of my cop friends about this. There's a difference between what they call kind of a knock and talk. I'm just trying to kind of see what's going on here versus, I have probable cause that something was going on here. And I think it was tactically smart for them to get away from the door.
Absolutely. They avoided the people. They avoided, yep, absolutely.
But at the same time, is there a law that says that cops have to announce themselves?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know that they have to.
Unless they have a warrant.
As we said, right. If they have a no-knock warrant, which that's a whole nother conversation about how that's a very, very bad idea sometimes. I had to work on a case in Tucson on that.
But if they have a no-knock warrant, then they knock and they have to announce themselves.
And then they have to leave a reasonable amount of time before they can kick the door. Yeah.
That wasn't what was happening here.
No, not at all.
So there's not a law that says that, okay, they knock, they don't have to announce themselves by law.
Right.
Sure would seem smart to me, though.
Well, then they run the risk of something like this happening, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons you want to let people know that there's police out here. People that ask me all the time, well, if somebody rings my doorbell in the middle of the night, I'm going to go to the door with a gun. Okay, I'd prefer you look on your video surveillance system and see who's at your door.
There's a great point.
Oh my gosh.
From a practical perspective, a doorbell camera, video surveillance on your front door, it is a no-risk way to see who's there.
And it's so affordable now.
It's so cheap
20
and easy
years
to set
ago,
up.
it was thousands of dollars. It's hundreds now. It's just not that expensive. So, yeah, don't go near your door. But let's say you can't afford a camera, you didn't think to get a camera. People will go to the door with a gun, and oftentimes they'll have a weapon-mounted light on the gun, and they'll shine the light. And I'm like, do you realize there's a very strong chance that's a cop asking for permission to get in your backyard to check a suspect status, or one of your kids is in a car crash, and they're there to tell you the bad news that your kid was in a car crash? You just pointed your gun at a cop. That is going to go very bad one of two ways.
Well, and okay, if somebody knocks on my door, I look in my peephole or I look on my Ring camera or whatever, my doorbell cam, and I don't see somebody.
Yeah, I'm not going to the door.
I'm not opening that door.
Amen.
I challenge through the door. Who's there? What do you want? Right? And then that's when I hear, hey, whatever, Phoenix PD, we need to talk to you. Okay? I understand. I hear that, officer. Now, if I'm really worried about that, call dispatch. Call 911.
We've all got multiple cell phones. Your wife's got a cell phone.
Right.
Your husband's got a cell phone. Call 911.
Right.
I've actually done that, and it works fantastically.
Right.
Yeah. A cop showed up at my house one time. There was somebody at large in my neighborhood, and I didn't have. This is years ago. I didn't have a front door camera, and we called the dispatcher, and within seconds they said, "Yep, two officers, McCarthy and Miller, whatever they were." And I
great, no problem. Gun gets put
invited
down.
them in, ended up making some coffee for them. They're great guys, but I was a whole lot more comfortable opening that door when I had it verified, because I had just worked on a case a few years ago where people had pretended to be cops and entered a house and a bunch of people got killed. So it was fresh in my mind that anybody can say they got a cop, anybody can put a fake badge up, blah, blah, blah. So be aware.
Well, so a 911 call, or at the very least, you hear, Phoenix PD, we need you to open up. Okay, officer, I want to verify that it's you.
Show me your badge and your ID.
Can you step in front so I can see your badge, please?
There you go.
And yeah, okay, no problem. And they probably will step, in enough to you can see that they're in full battle rattle or whatever. Oh, okay, fine. Put the gun down, open the door, whatever. So I think that there's challenges there with that. Now, in that second, so the officer sees the guy's got a gun. Guy kind of puts it and he drops it.
Yeah, which I didn't see until you pointed it out in the second version of it. I didn't see it either.
Well, and then he makes this gesture with the hand. And I think what he was doing, I think he's trying to put his hands up. Oh, okay, I'm good. Yep. But what does it look like to the officer?
It was a furtive movement with a weapon.
A furtive movement with a weapon.
You're going to get shot. Yep.
And you're going to get shot at there. Now, I will say the other issue in that is that the only thing they hemmed that guy up for was the fact that he had a privately manufactured firearm in the state of California. Now, I haven't asked Tim this. Let's ask the attorney. I personally have zero problems with a privately manufactured firearm for an individual without any government interference.
I have no problem with it either. I don't do it. I choose not to do it. And the reason is simply this. I don't see the advantage of it. I know the whole why should the government have a serial number that's tracked back to me and my privacy is important? I agree with all of that, but I think we're so far past those concerns at this point. I mean, anybody with a cell phone, anybody that's ever looked at a TikTok video, anybody that owns a house, anybody that pays taxes, anybody that's ever been fingerprinted, these are all the horses out of the barn, right? So to me, the thumb in the eyeball of the government is not worth the individual expression of freedom that I can get by without a serial number. It's a non-transferable gun, so it has no value except as a gun.
Right.
And the last thing I need is another Glock 19 that might not say Glock on it. I mean, so I've never done one. I have no problem people doing them, but I just always ask them, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right.
Are you getting enough out of this to make it worth the fact that 40% of the people out there think that you're a drug dealer if you have a so-called ghost gun?
Well, and like here in Arizona, right? So we have private transfers of firearms in
Sure.
Arizona. It's not a problem.
Right.
So I can buy a gun from my friend Tim legally without any kind of government interference, right? I don't have to go through a NICS check, any of those things. I have an Arizona CCW. You know I'm not a felon. Okay, fine. And so the advantage of having a privately manufactured firearm evaporates, right? Because now I have a gun that I don't have
You
any
cannot transfer legally.
federal government connection to, but it has a serial number as opposed to a privately manufactured one. If I try to transfer that firearm to somebody else, now I've run up against federal law.
Right.
And I know so a lot of people say, I don't care, I'll sell it to a friend and that way anyways. They go do something
A lot
stupid
of
with
people
it.
use illegal drugs.
Oh, how did you build this gun? Oh, I didn't, I bought it from Jim.
Yeah.
And now Jim's looking at, the Phoebes show up and they want to talk.
And not only do they want to talk, but at this point in our society, they want to prove a point.
Right.
And you don't want to be the test case on a case like this with the federal government. You just don't.
No, I mean, basically they have infinite resources to screw your life up.
Yep, and they know that, and they take full advantage of
And
it.
they
And
take
God
full-
bless them, I would too. If I was in the fortress shooting down, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah,
But it's not very good to be outside laying siege to that fortress, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so listen, I think the thing we see here, the police, unless they have a warrant to enter, they do legally from a law perspective, they don't have to announce themselves.
That's correct.
But officers, hear me, I think tactically it's way smarter to announce.
Well, and just in case a rookie officer is watching this that doesn't know better, if the person says, "Officer, would you do me a favor and step in front of my people so I can see your badge?" I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to slide my card under the door from the side and say, "Call 911 and verify who I am."
Yep.
I'm not going to step in front of people because somebody behind a locked door asked me to.
Right. Well, because that puts them in danger too. If they go,
Amen.
"No, I'm not going to," the answer for us as private citizens, okay, hold on a minute, I'm calling 911
Absolutely.
to verify that you're legit.
And any cop that has a problem with that is not a real cop.
It's not a good cop
That's right,
anyways,
yeah.
right? So I think that's the best of all worlds here.
Yeah.
It was a weird badge cam all the way around. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in that one. But for the folks who were like, they have to announce themselves, they have no right to do that, they were in the wrong. Tactically not so wise, but legally not a problem.
And again, guys, don't get too hung up on what's legal and what's not legal. Let's talk about what's smart and what's not smart. Answering a door looking like a doofus with a gun in your hand, I don't care if that's the Avon lady or if it's a cop, that is really stupid. As you said, at least put the gun behind your back.
Right.
I mean, how long does it take you to bring your arm around? A third of a second? I mean, what are you doing? It was just a completely the guy was, to stereotype, the guy was sitting there drinking a beer, playing video games, and he got up and grabbed a gun and went to the door.
Right.
Really stupid. And he's lucky he didn't pay for that stupidity with his life.
With a bullet hole. So yeah, let's all be smart.
Yeah,
right?
be smart.
Be smart on the law enforcement side, be smart on the private citizen
And
side.
cops stay safe, please.
Good,
Yeah.
sane, sober, moral, prudent action.
Amen.
Thanks, Tim.
Absolutely, always.